Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we're going to be recapping the Jester Fjord wedding live show. And without further ado, let's get started. We start in Nicodranus. The city is abuzz with anticipation for the wedding. Fjord wakes up in a stable. He is very hungover. He yells for Bo, who is right next to him. She laughs and says he looks like shit. And then she wonders where Caleb is and pokes a haystack, and that's where he's been sitting. He asks what time it is, which is bad because he should always know what time it is, so he is super fucked up. Bo then pulls out some restoration potions. A second Caleb then appears and asks how they're all doing. The second Caleb confuses Fjord. Caleb, too, says Fjord wanted to steal a boat last night and figured it would be best if one of them was at least left behind. Caleb Prime went with Fjord and Bo last night, and they got really fucked up and stole a boat. Fjord is confused again about stealing a boat, and Bo says they actually succeeded in doing it. Bo says that they took it back to its owner, however. Caleb 2, or Clone Caleb, says they were going nuts on the boat, yelling Eldritch Blast and sending spells off into the air. Bo says they renamed the boat Fjord's Last Mistake. Fjord is happy they gave it back to the owner and asks if anybody died. Caleb says no, but thinks the government or the guards will potentially be after them after some pyrotechnics went off in the harbor. Caleb says that he molded a rock out in the harbor that looks like a naked pirate man with a tusk tooth tattoo on his butt. Fjord asks if anyone saw them, and Bo says no one saw them this time. Meanwhile, we join up with Jester the morning after her bachelorette party. She is currently in the lavish chateau in a comfy bed with Veth, Yasha, Kingsley, Essek, and Fern. They all have matching silk PJs and a bunch of hamster unicorns fly into the room and give them refreshments. Jester says that last night was very fun, and Veth says that they thought they'd stay out longer. She thought Jester would like the Minotaur strip show Hot to Trot way more than she did. Jester says they got kicked out after Veth tried to climb a Minotaur. It's kind of why they left early, which is why they were home by 9 and they were able to do some of their makeup. Essek wonders if they do this every wedding because they should, especially Chadwick, a talented young Minotaur, as he puts it. Veth asks if he got a private dance, and Essek says no, he's a devoted partner, but he's allowed to look, as he and Caleb has agreed upon. Jester asks where Caduceus is, and then we cut downstairs to the main room of the lavish chateau. It's been redecorated in the most Jester-like fashion, pinks everywhere. Marion Lavore, with a feather boa robe on, is directing people. Behind her sits the wedding planner, Deferad Coleus. Hopefully I said that right. From now on, I'm going to refer to her as the wedding planner because that's a lot easier to say. She is sitting next to Caduceus. She has bloodshot eyes as it seems she's been up all night, and she asks if they're done. Caduceus says no, the colors will be all wrong by the time the wedding starts, as they'll fade over time. The wedding planner says everything was triple approved by the family of the bride and asks him to leave her alone. He says of course, and then he goes to say something else, but she gets up and leaves. Fjord, Caleb, and Bo enter the chateau at this moment. The bridal party come downstairs at the exact same time. They ask how each of their parties went. Veth gets all upset because Fjord and Jester are seeing each other, but Bo notes that that's only when they're all dressed up that they're not allowed to see each other. Veth is sorry for freaking out. She is the matron of honor after all, so she's a little stressed. Caduceus says stress happens through poor management and goes to look for the wedding planner. Fjord agrees, saying that stress also makes you commit crime the day before your wedding. Jester asks what he's talking about, and Fjord says it was a joke. Essek notes that Caleb had quite the evening. Caleb says that he didn't ask how Essek's went, and Essek said that he knows what they're going to be doing for their next date night because he broke in some beast of burden, and then they went to bed early. Bo and Yasha ask about their nights as well. Yasha says that she felt like she was at an 8-year-old's birthday party, and Bo says that they'll have to do a do-over after the wedding. Fern isn't part of the wedding party. She just happened to be at the Hot to Trot. She also likes Chadwick. Great. The other Bells Hells are invited as well, but they haven't shown up yet. Jester hopes they do. Caleb gets excited about Essek meeting Chetney, and Essek is worried about Caleb's obsession with this creepy old man. Marion enters the chamber, and she says that the wedding must be perfect, and a chocolate fountain, an endless chocolate fountain made by Pumat's soul, will be here soon. Marion sees Jester and hugs her. She is very excited for her big day. Fern meets Marion and they think they're both hot. Marion asks if Fern has the background in dancing, and Fern says yes. So she's going to have a tryout, I guess. Marion says things have fallen behind a bit and she must take care of herself, and Marion heads out. The wedding planner steps up and says that they have some stuff to do before the ceremony, and the ceremony must be done before sunset. The wedding planner asks the party to get ready, and she heads off. Jester laughs about how stressed out she is, and Fjord asks if Jester needs help before he goes and gets people gathered up for the wedding. Jester notes that he's all sweaty and asks if he got wasted. Bo says that they did, but she had some potions ready for them that they already drank, so they're all good. Fjord says that they had a great time. Veth rolls an insight check. Fjord rolls a 13 on his deception, and Veth rolls a 12 on her insight. Fjord is hard to read. But Essek rolled a 24 and notes that they had some good fun. Fjord says that Bo and Caleb will help him get people to the lighthouse after a quick shower. They gather their stuff and then they head to their respective responsibilities. As they move through the city, they hear people who weren't invited wondering what's going on and how they can get a seat. Jester wants them all to come, but Caduceus says there's no point in a guest list if you can't tell some people they can't come. Jester thinks that this wedding is bringing out a new side of him. A person wearing a cloak rides up to the lavish chateau and steps off their horse. They take their hood off, and it's Shikasta. He has made it. Shikasta asks Jester how she's doing, and he notes that he wouldn't miss this for the world. Jester tells him that he can go inside and start partying, and the wedding will start soon. He enters the chateau and vanishes inside. Hopes he has a good time. Around the corner, Vandrin is teaching a family how to plant some crops. He locks eyes with Fjord, and he says that he never thought he'd see the day. Fjord says that he's looking well, and Vandrin tells his son to excuse him. He has to deal with another son. Fjord then hugs him, and Vandrin tells him that he's proud of Fjord. Fjord says that he doesn't have much of a family, so him being here means everything to him. Fjord tells him to wait until he sees Jester. She's beaming. Vandrin says that that's what her normal state is like, and hopes that he doesn't rot the rest of his teeth away with some of the sweets that he's been seeing. Vandrin says that he'll see Fjord at the ceremony, and he has to teach Timothy how to set up a garden. Fjord hands Vandrin an anchor with the Wild Mother's reef around it, and says that he's giving it to his half of the wedding party. It's like a small little medallion thing. Vandrin accepts the symbol and thanks him. Fjord thanks him for being there when it mattered most, and Vandrin then goes back to his son. Eventually, they make their way to the lighthouse. Many people from the city watch with excitement as they make their way there. At the lighthouse, there is a massive stone statue of the Wild Mother overlooking the ocean, a symbol of land and sea, and it means to be protected even without her presence being there. There are 6 long tables with empty plates waiting for their treats to arrive. There seems to be some trees from elsewhere in the world, planted here at the edge of this lighthouse now. They have blue and pink leaves on them. Keyleth finishes planting and making one of these. Another woman with similar hair tells her to take a break. Keyleth says that she had to just come up with these trees on the spot. They must be perfect. The party saved the world twice now. Keyleth's mom notes that they also brought the two of them back together. She owes them everything as well, but notes that these trees might wreck a bit of the ecology around here. Jester gets excited seeing the trees and says they must stay forever. Keyleth says that Jester has a glow of someone who's in love, and Jester says she does as well. Keyleth gets back to work, and the wedding planner shows up. She says that she has to take Jester to get changed and is freaking out. Jester tells her to calm down, everything will be fine. This calms the planner down a bit, but Jester says just not to fuck it all up. At the cliffside is an archway on a platform with twisting vines and flowers going up it. It looks like the Traveler's Gateway. Veth asks if they need to get dressed, and Caduceus says yes, and Veth casts haste on Jester so they can get moving a little bit faster. Caleb tells Fjord the shape out in the sea that they can all see is him naked with a tattoo on his ass, which does not make Fjord feel very good about himself. Jester says that she wants to give everyone tattoos. Essek thinks that it might give him more of an edge. Caleb asks if this is the gift-giving portion of the day, and Caduceus, who's a little bit stressed out about schedule, says, why not? Caleb asks Essek if he has it, and Caleb says that Essek, Veth, and Bo helped him out with this. Essek takes out an amulet made from silver and platinum that looks like the Traveler's Gate, and Caleb takes one out with the exact same materials that looks like some sort of anchor. Caleb says that they are known as the Hidden Haven amulets. They will keep them both safe, and they will give them a place to celebrate every night. If they combine the amulets and say, my heart, my home, which is the phrase that they have to say, but in Zemnian, and I'm not going to repeat what he said in Zemnian because I can't, A doorway will open up, and a suite in the tower will become theirs once a day. It's one that's blocked off. You can't get to it any other way. Fjord and Jester thank them for this, and Jester can't wait to bone in there. Veth asks if Jester knows what she's doing when it comes to that, and Jester says that she'll take any advice that she can, but her and Fjord have boned before. At this moment, 3 Pumat souls come in carrying a fountain, a chocolate fountain, and ask where it goes, and Caduceus says to take it to the dessert table. Jester says that it's actually meant to be at the Lava Chateau for the reception, but it's fine there, I guess. Pumat says that they'll actually take it to the chateau and congratulates Fjord and Jester. He says that he always saw the love between the two of them. Pumat soul actually grows big on his own. Pumat Prime grows big, and he takes it back by himself, letting the other 2 Pumat souls help around the lighthouse. The party go inside the lighthouse to their respective rooms to get ready. The crowd outside begins to grow. Many NPCs show up. Kaliana is talking to Orly. Yusa and Keg are talking while they eat. Keyleth and Vilya are trying to finish up the trees, and Yeza is talking to Neela. Allura and Kima arrive and give a hug to Keyleth, and suddenly there's a knock on Jester's door. Veth opens it up for her, and a blue sweating man is there and asks about his daughter. Veth gives him a towel so he can wipe himself up a little bit and not ruin her makeup, and lets him in. Jester is excited to see him. The gentleman says that he has to keep a low profile, but he's here for her and he wouldn't miss this for the world. Jester says that her mom will be happy to see the gentleman's here, and he's happy to hear that. Jester asks if he has a present for her, and he says his presence is a present, but he'll try to get something before the evening is done. He takes her hand and says that he's watched her grow and is sad that he missed a lot of it, but he's happy to see who she is becoming. He hopes he can make her as proud as she makes him. Jester says that she's glad that she found him and hope that they could have many great adventures ahead. The gentleman says that one day, once he fixes a bunch of the issues he's made, maybe he can show his face again and they can go on their adventures together. Veth asks if he will walk her down the aisle, and the gentleman thinks that that's actually Marion's job as she did most of the raising. Jester says that her mother will be the one walking her down the aisle and agrees that her mother raised her, so it's more her role than his. Jester says if they were ever to renew their vows, maybe he can be the one to walk her down the aisle. The gentleman agrees and says that no matter if it's going to be back to Fjord or someone else, she'll do that next time he can. The gentleman heads down to the wedding grounds in disguise. Jester is shocked that he's here. Jester notes that she hasn't written her wedding vows yet. The others freak out a bit, and Jester says that she'll figure it out. Meanwhile, Fjord is getting changed. He thinks his pants are a little bit too tight, and Bo and Caleb tell him to relax. They then hear a faint scratching at the door, and Fjord uses divine sense to see any fey creatures, and he actually sees a fey creature. The party get ready, the door swings open, and Nugget runs in the room and jumps on Fjord and begins to lick him. Fjord says that it's not the right room, but Bo thinks it is. Bo hands him a bit of pocket bacon, and then Nugget leaves the room because he disappears. Bo fixes Fjord up a bit, and they start to freak out as the wedding draws near. Fjord says that the Jester deserves the best. Bo says that if he wasn't nervous that she would be a little bit more worried, but it's natural to be nervous. Caleb says that she does deserve the best and he is the best for her. It'll all be fine. Caleb knows within 30 minutes the ceremony will begin. Caleb says that he knows Fjord won't fuck up his vows, but he casts Fortune's favor just in case. Fjord says that he wrote his vows down, but thanks him anyway. The golden hour arrives and the benches fill up with people, all in standing room, or even more people are gathered in standing room. Rini sits next to Twiggy. Yes, Twiggy is here, the goat. Both Fjord and Jester look out at the people and see who all the lives that their lives have touched. Bo notes that Jester invited all of Exandria, and the planner asks Fjord if he's ready. Bo says they are, and Fjord agrees. The planner tells him to go down and greet those who arrive, and when the music starts, Caduceus will guide the ceremony. The planner goes over to Jester's room and asks how things are going. Jester asks if the planner has seen Artie yet, and the planner says that she hasn't seen him today. The planner says that she assumes he'll be here, as many people have only just arrived. Veth asks if she wants to send Artie a message, and Jester says that she's still writing down her vows, so she can't. Yasha says that she can send a message, and Jester tells her to do so. Yasha says, Artie, where are you? We're waiting here at the wedding of Jester Lavore, and Fjord. Alright, you better get here soon. Okay, bye-bye. A hand suddenly touches Jester's shoulder, and she turns and sees Artie in a green robe, befitting of an archfey. Artie says all that Jester had to do was get Yasha to ask for him, as she's very powerful after all. She can do a great many things with her power, and they'll talk later about that. Jester asks why he's in green, it's a pink wedding. He says that it's not his wedding, and she agrees. Artie says that he wants to stand out just a little bit, because, she'll have most of the attention, but he still wants to stand out. Artie then enchants Jester's dress to make it float a little bit. He also brought bushes that grow with fey flowers that can sing. Keyleth asks what the fuck is going on, as she didn't make those. Artie says that he's also brought the help that she requested, and magical hamsters, magical hamster unicorns take people to their seats. Jester says that she thought the gods were dead, but he's very special. He says, please don't tell people that specifically, and he hands her a new pamphlet that states that people can worship him, but he is not in fact a god. Artie then takes her by the hand and tells her to show other brides why she's the best bride. Jester says that she will crush all other brides beneath her foot. Artie tells her to have fun and then vanishes. Yasha says that Jester looks very beautiful, especially now with her enchanted dress. Veth casts Intellect Fortress on Jester to help her out, and says that to speak from the heart, because for some reason she loves him being Fjord. Caduceus says that they'll make Fjord go first, so that way Jester can top him no matter what he says. Caduceus takes the stage. Talzin literally goes and stands at a podium in front of the live crowd. Everyone looks up at Caduceus, who cues the flower girl, and a teenage girl with black feathers walks down the aisle, throwing petals as she goes. Kiri, finally making a reappearance to the series. Love that shit. Bo and Caleb enter as the groomsmen, and Liam and Marisha join Talzin at the podium. Fjord then walks up, and Travis walks to the podium as well. Veth, Yasha, and Essek and Kingsley step up to the opposite side, and Ashley and Sam stand on the opposite side of the podium because they don't have people to fill in for Kingsley and Essek. Caddy asks everyone to stand for the bride, and the entire crowd of the live show stands. And Jester then walks to the platform and joins Fjord. Laura joins Travis. Caduceus says that he normally deals with endings, and he's happy to deal with a beginning for once. He thought when he met them that he was to show them the path forward, but that was the arrogant opinion of a young man. He thought that he was to help Fjord become a great man, but Fjord was already on that journey. Caduceus thanks his captain for letting him serve with him. Caddy says that Jester's attitude toward life was a mystery at first. He thought it was childish, but saw how mature she was when the world threw challenges at her. He realized there was a sense of romance not just for other people, but for everything that there was. When he tries to look at the world the way she does, he sees poetry everywhere and sees the light that is within reach. He says he loves them both and has never been lost when he's with them. He feels like a traveler when he's at their side. He says, Artie, you're welcome, and a hand suddenly grabs Caduceus, and Artie says that he appreciates the idea. Caduceus asks Fjord to give his vows, but suddenly the wedding planner tries to get Caduceus to stop the ceremony. The wedding planner darts forward to Caduceus and whispers something to him, then a wave of nausea goes over the crowd and the party. Time suddenly slows down, the sky turns purple and black, everyone stands, and then they all suddenly vanish. Glyphs light up around the pillars in the archway, everyone is now gone. The party stand in a mirrored version of the current venue of the lighthouse. Dead vines and flowers, grays, purples, and whites replace the pink and blues that were there before. Everyone needs to make a Constitution saving throw. Everyone who was standing at the podium before take their seats back at their respective tables to make their rolls. Con saves: Veth a 13, fail. Caleb a 24, fail. Caduceus a 21, fail. Yasha a 25, fail. Jester a natural 20, success. Bo a 28, success. And Fjord a 26, fail. Crazy how high that DC is. Everyone who failed, they all suddenly lock in place and they are paralyzed. They can only briefly make a bit of a muttering sound coming from their mouths. The wedding planner then all looks at them. She says it has taken them years to wrestle with it, all the waiting from a distance up until the right time. Her grin then grows as she transforms into a hag. Isharnai, the Prism Sage, is here. Bo stands between Asharnai and Jester. Asharnai walks forward. Asharnai says Jester gave her friendship and warmth, but over time, the truth unraveled. She scarred her blackened soul, but she clung to the lie like a fading dream. She yearned for Jester. The longer the void grew, the more it filled with hate. Bo asked if she's on the guest list, and Jester says that she actually did invite her. Asharnai waves her hand, and a charisma save from Bo. She rolls a 22 and fails, and suddenly vanishes. Yasha, paralyzed, freaks out watching her girlfriend vanish. Jester says that she's sorry to Asharnai, and Fjord misty steps over to her, but she's still stuck in place. Fjord says the amulet, and he refers to the Haven amulet that they just received. Asharnai says no, Jester is hers. She's waited to strip everything away from Jester till that's all that's left is Asharnai. Wisdom save from Jester, and she rolls a 25, and she passes. Jester says that she really does like her, and she was sending her cupcakes every year to remind Asharnai of this. Asharnai says that she covets Jester's friendship and wants it all to herself. She then takes a chain off from around her neck with a glass amulet attached to it. Jester says that she can't go anywhere. She's marrying Fjord, and she can't be the only friend of Asharnai. She's marrying Fjord. Asharnai says that she understands, but Jester hurt her, and now she wants to take the truth away from her, just like Jester did to Asharnai. The truth that someone actually cared. Asharnai reaches out and touches the amulet to Jester's forehead. Jester rolls a charisma saving throw, and she fails. Jester sees a woman walking in a wasteland of Jorhas, broken wings, dragging a sword behind her. Given hope and family that she saved the world with, she was with her till she stood with Jester at her wedding. Jester looks at Yasha, and she doesn't recognize her. Her memories of Yasha are now gone. Jester asks who she is. Jester asks if Asharnai can unfreeze her friends now. Asharnai says they need to finish this little talk first, and then she'll send them all back. She doesn't hate her friends after all. Jester says that she doesn't have to be like this. Persuasion roll natural 20. Asharnai looks at Jester, and she hugs Jester and says that she was lost and she doesn't like being made a fool of. Suddenly a second voice from out of nowhere says, "Sage, you fool, we came all this way, and you're gonna stop talking now." Down in one of the wicker baskets hanging from Asharnai's arm seems to be some old fey elf-looking creature with magical chains bounding her. A old woman with a massive set of bull horns. Her eyes burn red, and metal clamps around her throat. A chain wrapped around her throat. Some kind of prisoner in this wicker cage. This second hag tells Asharnai not to fall for it again. In the other wicker basket is a white-haired, frail woman in chains. 2 pack companions to the hag. So there's 3 hags here. The white-haired one says it's sad Asharnai can't finish the job once she gets the chance. Jester asks who they are, and Asharnai says old friends. Asharnai asks to walk with Jester, and Jester agrees. Asharnai asks how Jester will welcome her back into Jester's life. Jester says that they need more people on the ship, and she thinks that all 3 of them would be great additions to the boat. Asharnai asks if Jester loves Fjord. Jester says yes, and Asharnai asks how much. Jester says not as much as you. Deception check, natural 1. A smile opens on Asharnai's face, and she says that she lies, and she presses the amulet to Jester's forehead once again. Jester, however, this time saves with a 28. No memories are lost yet. The bonds of her love push the magic back. Asharnai says that there will be room for only her in Jester's mind. The party feel a flicker of magic as the spell fails to steal Jester's memories. Caleb casts teleport and rolls a D100, and he gets a 53. He is in a place completely new to him, so he doesn't necessarily have it perfectly. He vanishes, and then he stands in some sort of fey forest on a cliffside. He has no idea where he is, but he's not frozen anymore. He says, "Witches coven, just like the books." Meanwhile, Bo is somewhere in a endless sky falling endlessly. Not much for her to do right now. Veth is pissed seeing the hag who turned her into a goblin. She feels the rage that Veth locked up. She unlocks it, and she makes a saving throw. Matt lets her sacrifice some hit points to add to the bonus, +1 for every 15. Same thing goes for every 15 HP used. Same thing goes for like spell slots. They can expend spell slots to do the same sort of thing. Veth gives up 45 hit points to get +3 to her roll, and she rolls a 31 on the save. Veth breaks free, and she's no longer paralyzed. Yasha tries to bamf out her wings. She sees her old love Zuala in her mind, lost to her now. She thinks about her current love, Bo, also lost to her at the moment. She feels lost and she feels regret. She gets to make a save again. Same deal as Veth. She uses up 60 hit points to get a +4 to the roll, and she gets a 26 and breaks free. Her wings also push out. Asharnai tells Jester that her friends are infuriating, and one of the other hags in the wicker baskets say, of course they are, and Jester treats them well. Asharnai tells her to shut her teeth and magically seals her mouth with some chains. Jester says that she doesn't love Asharnai more than Fjord, but she still sees her as a friend and says that she's sorry and casts Divine Word. Charisma save 23, Asharnai saves. Asharnai sees the casting and pushes the amulet to Jester's forehead. Bo suddenly appears as the banishment fades. Jester fails and loses her memories of Marion Lavore, her mother. Fucked up right there, that one. That's not nice. Asharnai says that she can give them back, but Jester doesn't know what she's talking about. Asharnai says that she's making room for her new friend. Jester guesses she means Asharnai, and then Bo then runs up and pop up, motherfucker, time to hit some people. She misses with both her initial pop-pops, but then she uses Flurry of Blows to do 2 more pop-pops, and only hits 1 time, and she deals 11 damage. She tries to stun Asharnai, but there is no effect. She then uses Extract Aspects, and she is resistant to cold, fire, and psychic damage, and basically immune to all conditions. There is a strange flicker to it, however, when it comes to stun. Asharnai says that she can just erase them all completely then. Caduceus uses Divine Intervention and asks to be free and able to run. There's a shadow version of the lighthouse behind them. It then suddenly glows with color and everyone is completely freed, as the lighthouse is of the Wild Mother, his goddess. Everyone then charges in except Caleb, who is somewhere else. Battle map is out and it looks dope. It's time to roll initiative. Initiative rolls. Yasha with a 22, Bo with a 22, Veth with a 17, Caleb with a 14, Fjord with a 12, Jester with an 11, and Caduceus with a 7. Yasha is up first. She lets her battle cry go off, giving everyone advantage on their attacks and saves until her next turn, with the exception of Caleb, as he's not here. She runs up and attacks. She hits with a 22, which hits, dealing 59 damage. She then swings again and hits for 21 more damage. Bo is up. She moves to the baskets and hits one of the hags that are inside. She deals 12 damage, but the chains flash and she only takes half. Bo then tells the others of the chains protect the hags within the baskets, and she swings again and for the other hag, but misses. Flurry of Blows, she hits once and uses Extract Aspects again, and she gets the exact same thing, except these ones are not immune to stun. She then deals 10 damage to that hag, which would be half, so it turns into 5, and then she tries to stun the hag, but the hag saves. The companion hags are now up. They both glow, and Asharnai seems to take life energy from the two of them. They both take 15 damage, and Asharnai heals for 60 HP. Asharnai uses a legendary action to swing for Bo with a claw attack, and she crits. Bo takes 76 force damage, and Asharnai gains a luck point. Veth is up. She casts Haste on Fjord, and then Veth runs and hides. She rolls a 30 on her stealth check. Asharnai uses 3 legendary actions to cast her version of Meteor Swarm as a bunch of glass spears rain down on the party, hitting everybody except for Caleb and Bo, because Bo is a little too close to Asharnai. She doesn't want to get hit. Yasha, she rolls a natural 20 and saves. She takes 41 damage. Caduceus, natural 20, and he uses Shield Master to take no damage. It allows him to basically use evasion. Veth is up. She rolls a natural 20 as well. The fucking bridal party is cracked. And with evasion, she also takes no damage. Jester, she takes 82 damage as she fails. And Fjord fails, taking 82 damage as well. Veth uses Spell Thief, and Asharnai fails the save. And Veth now has that spell to her own. Or she would if Asharnai didn't use a legendary resistance to pass the save. Asharnai is up. She then jumps into the air. Yasha gets an opportunity attack but misses. She then claws at Bo and misses one and hits the other for 32 damage. She gains a luck point. She then uses a crackling wave, slamming her hand down onto the ground, and a wave of energy goes towards basically everybody in the party. Fjord uses Counterspell to counter it. Caleb is up, and he teleports himself back and lands next to Jester. Asharna uses a legendary action to claw Bo again and hits for 29 damage, and she now has a third luck point. Crazy. Fjord is up. He rushes Asharna and swings, and he hits 3 times using Divine Smite 1 time, dealing 64 damage total with all those hits. He then uses his hasted action to hit with Eldritch Blast, hitting 4 of the 4 times, dealing 32 damage. Asharna then uses a legendary action to teleport next to Jester. Jester is up, and she casts Power Word Fortify, giving 80 temp HP to Bo and the rest to herself. She then runs back to the backside of Asharna. Asharna uses a legendary action and hits Jester with the amulet. Charisma save 26, Jester saves, no memories lost. Caduceus is up. He uses his Channel Divinity to give double damage to Asharna when she's hit next. He then uses Hidden Step to turn invisible. Asharna uses a legendary action to hit Jester with the amulet again. Charisma save. This time she fails, and she loses her memory of Fjord. Fucked up. But whoever that guy was, I guess. She then looks to her groom and sees a complete stranger. Yasha is up. She rages, and she then rushes over and hits for 121 damage thanks to Caduceus. This hit turns Asharna's attention to Yasha, as that was nasty. Yasha swings again and hits for 28 more damage. Bo is up. She uses Empty Body and uses a bunch of her key points and becomes invisible and resistant to all damage except for force damage, which isn't good because that's all that she's done thus far. She then rushes up and uses Patient Defense because she can't attack because her action was used. Asharna then takes energy from the other hags to regain her 9th level spell slot. Veth is up. She blesses her bolt. Forget exactly what she used to do that, but she blesses her bolt, and she fires her crossbow and hits for 39 damage. Asharna says that she can put Veth back in her old body that she gave her. Asharna is up, and she claws at Veth, which would hit if Veth didn't have shield. She then uses, using Sentinel, both Yasha and Bo get opportunity attacks because Asharna attacked. Yasha misses, but Bo hits for 9 damage, and she makes Asharna vulnerable to radiant damage using one of her key points. Asharna then uses Destined Tragedy, using all of her luck points that she got from Bo, and Bo needs to make a con save. Asharna crushes the luck, and then suddenly, Bo falls to 0 hit points. She's now out cold. She feels her soul blink out into nothing for a moment, and she goes out cold. Asharna uses Conjure Tangle, putting it around herself. Veth and Yasha are now in it, and they have to make strength saves at the beginning of their turn, or they're stuck. Asharna then moves away from the group. Caleb is up. He casts Wish to cast Temple of the Gods. He creates a massive temple, and in the middle of the temple is a statue of the Traveler. I'm trying to sort of give a better visual than what I've written down here for like how this works. So it's like 180, I think he said 180 foot square, and Asharna has to like move around to the door, which is only 10 feet wide, and that's the only way she can get in. But if she tries to get in, she will have to make a saving throw before she can enter, and then on top of that, if she gets in, she's basically baned because she's not allowed in based on Caleb's wording. Asharna is currently outside of the temple, and she'll have to roll to come in, like I said. Caleb then moves away from the door. Asharna would have to walk all the way around the temple to enter it, but she teleports in front of the door using a legendary action. Fjord is up. He rushes up and uses Hexblade's Curse on Asharna. He then fires 3 Eldritch Blasts at her again, hitting 3 of his 4, critting on one of them, dealing 64 damage. Asharna uses a legendary action to cast Heal on herself. Caleb uses Counterspell. She then tries to counterspell his counterspell. She has to roll and beat an 18, but she fails to do so. So no heal goes off. Jester is up. She moves and casts Sunburst on 8th level. Asharna fails, but uses a legendary resistance to take it. So it would be halved, but because of the whole vulnerability to radiant damage from before, she takes 39 damage. Jester then moves to the right to avoid being in a cone with anybody else. Caduceus is up. He casts Heal at 9th level, completely healing everybody in the party because 700 hit points is going to cover everybody who took damage because not everybody did yet. He then backs up into the temple a little bit further. Yasha is up. The vines don't hold her. She makes a save. She then runs towards the door of the magical temple, and she attacks the pale hag in the basket. She hits, and she also hits the chains as it goes that are holding her. Yasha deals 57 damage to the hag, and the chains take all of that damage as well. The hag only takes half of that. I wrote that weirdly. I don't know why. Yasha then swings again, critting, dealing 54 damage to the chains, breaking the hag free from the chains. Bo is up, and she stands up because she's now healed. And then she rushes forward, and she activates her lightning gloves to give her 20 feet of attack range. She then swings and hits for the other hag, who is still chained up, and she deals 19 damage to the chains. She then flurry of blows, hitting once, doing 14 damage to the chain. The other hag is still up. They're connected to her. The hags are now up. Asharnai takes life from the hag that is still chained up. The hag that is chained takes 15 damage and heals Asharnai 30 HP. The other hag tries to undermine Asharnai, however, using Wither Captor. She takes away any luck points that Asharnai had earned, and Asharnai attacks now at disadvantage until her next turn. Veth is up. She thinks of her husband, Yeza. She thinks of her son, Luke. And she thinks of the young Bernato growing in her belly, and she fires her bolt at the chains holding the other hag. Veth hits and deals 52 damage with sneak attack to the chain, destroying the other chain. Both hags are now free. Asharnai is up. She goes to cast her Meteor Swarm again, the glass one. Everyone needs to make a save. Natural 20 from Fjord, 59 damage. 16 from Jester, 118 damage. 20 from Bo. She uses evasion to half it, so 59 damage. 7 from Yasha, but she takes 88 damage thanks to her rage, because some of that damage is piercing damage. Caduceus rolls a 19, but he uses his evasion to half the damage as well, 59 damage. Caleb fails, but uses his Ring of Evasion to succeed and takes 59 damage. Veth fails and uses evasion to make it to 59 damage as well. The fact that like half of this party have evasion is fucking crazy to me. It's literally ridiculous and awesome at the same time. Evasion, best skill. Or best ability, however you want to put it. She tries to step through the doorway, and with a charisma save, she fails, but she burns her last legendary resistance to come in. She now gets a -4 to all of her shit. Caleb is up, and he looks at her, and he casts Disintegrate at Asharnai. Asharnai goes to use Counterspell, but Caleb goes to use Counterspell to counter her Counterspell. 7th level for Caleb. He rolls a 22. He counters the counter and then blasts at Asharnai. Asharnai makes a dex save, and she rolls a 14. She fails. Caleb deals 75 damage to Asharnai. Caleb, thinking of all the damage that Asharnai has caused, to Jester today, to Veth Bernato back then, to Bo and her family. He also thinks of the 2 hags that were chained up to her for who knows how long. It ends here. He carves a circle around where Asharnai's heart would be, blasting a hole straight through it. Asharnai falls to her knees, dust pouring out from the hole that would be where her heart was. She says that she'll find Jester. Instead of dying because she wasn't nearby her hovel, as I'm putting it, she drops to 1 hit point instead. So no matter what they do, the party cannot kill her here. They need to kill her near her abode. As she starts to teleport away, a door opens up behind her, and she goes to step through it. Bo uses her reaction to use her staff to hit the amulet, as do Fjord and Yasha. Bo hits with an 18, Fjord hits and crits, Yasha hits as well. They deal a combined 56 damage. However, Yasha's final swing shatters the amulet. Jester gets her memories back. Asharnai goes back into the doorway that she made to teleport back home, and the other 2 hags grab a hold of her and go with her as they do. The party then fall back, and they land standing at a sunset before a standing crowd who are all confused now. The party retake their positions at the wedding platform, and they do in real life. Essek asks if everything is all right. Caduceus says, "Fjord, I believe you have something to say." Fjord is all nervous as he's about to say his wedding vows, but Marion Lavore, his mother-to-be, tells him that it's okay, be brave. Fjord gives his vows to Jester. He tells Jester that she was the chaos he didn't know he needed in his life. He spent a long time trying to figure out who he was, and he chased power, wrestled with destiny, and made many mistakes. But she was always there reminding him that joy isn't earned, it's a choice. He says that she is chaos wrapped in kindness. He says that she flipped everything that he thought he understood, but everything finally made sense. She showed him the best things don't always come with a plan, and that's what his heart was waiting for. He promises to match her mischief with patience, her spontaneity with steadiness, her boundless heart with one that is hers forever. He will follow her into any storm or wild dream, because anywhere she is where he belongs. He says that he'll be her anchor, just like she has been his. Caduceus then turns to Jester and says that it's her turn. Jester says that when she was young, she thought romance was like her books, filled with semen, biceps, and declaration of love. But then she met Fjord. He showed her something different and something better. Real love isn't fireworks and ripped tunics. It's him making sure that she eats more than sweets, because she gets cranky if she doesn't. It's him listening to her talk about generations of grass societies for hours on end. It's them sitting on the ship with nothing before them and her still being completely happy about everything. Love isn't about being swept away, but instead standing solid, choosing to stay, painting the same face 1,000 times because she never gets tired of looking at it. She doesn't want perfect love in any story, she wants real love. She promises to stand next to him and hold him tighter every day, because this moment is the best adventure she's ever had. Caduceus asks if anyone has the rings. They give each other their rings and they both say their I do's. Caduceus pronounces them man and wife, and the two of them kiss, and Travis and Laura kiss in real life. Artagan steps forward and says that it's time to celebrate, and the party all go back to the Lava Chateau for the reception. The band for tonight is out of retirement. It's Dr. Dranzel and his troupe, and returning for one night only is Scanlan, the Centaur Shorthalt. Yes, it was confirmed he is a centaur still. Or, not a centaur. What the fuck? The half-horse thing. I think it's a centaur. I'm probably wrong saying it's not, but that's what it is. The drinks flow and the glasses clink. It's time for speeches. Veth is up first. She says that when Jester fell in love with Fjord, they all asked the same question. Why? What did she see in him? Jester was great and Fjord was weak and unworthy, but she saw something in him. Fjord rose to every occasion and became the man that Jester always saw. There's magic in this couple. Jester's is seeing someone's heart, and she saw it in Veth, the Traveler, and in Fjord. Fjord's magic is to persist, to be there for his friends and for his wife no matter what. Fjord completes Jester, and Jester completes all of them. To Mr. and Mrs. Fjord Tough. Bo is now up, and she says that Fjord was a hot mess when they first met. He was a confused seaman who was hustled to buy a ring of fire protection, even though he controlled water, which is the greatest line of all time. But now he's changed. Fjord is setting sail on the greatest adventure yet, trading his ring of fire protection for his ring of sapphire. He's no longer a boy who was a bit of a pussy who ate balls. He's now a man who will have a ball while eating pussy. The second best line of all time, probably even better than the first line. Bo says Fjord has and will always be her fearless leader, and hopes that he knows no matter what, whether he needs help on the high seas or building a high chair, she will always be there. She says that she loves Fjord and Jester more than her cold, bitchy heart can ever express. Yasha is up, and she says fornication, and she corrects herself and says for an occasion, and asks everyone to stand up. She says that they took her in when she was a feral creature and they became her family. Jester opened her heart to chaos, and Fjord is the brother that she always wanted. May their ups and downs come only in the bedroom, and everyone cheers at that. Caleb is now up. He says that it's a gift that this day happened. They've witnessed many adversities and many triumphs together. They've weathered loss. They've survived many things that could have undone this happy day. Think of how everything had to happen just right and sometimes just wrong to come to this day instead of other outcomes. But those other outcomes are never going to happen. It was always meant to be this. It's a miracle that they are here on this day with two people who they all love dearly, and the two of them are holding on to joy. He says that Jester and Fjord are one of the finest couples in Exandria, and then Liam above table says that Travis and Laura are one of the best couples in the world. They will find no truer seas to sail, no faith better to follow than this pairing of two souls as one. The entire crowd toasts to Jester and Fjord. Yasha and Bo kiss. Ashley and Marisha kiss in real life. Caduceus says it's time to party, and the party kicks off. Something white flashes before Bo's eyes, and she tries to catch it. It's shit that has landed on her hand. She looks up and sees an owl looking down at her, and then it flies out of the chateau. Professor Thaddeus strikes again years later. Fjord and Jester kiss, and the session ends here. And there you have it, the Jester Fjord wedding live show. It's been a long time coming. They've been talking about this one for a fucking long time. Basically, ever since the Echoes of the Solstice live show that they did, which was, I think, more than a year ago now, more than a year and a half ago now. So this one was a long time coming. I'm shocked they actually did some of the other stuff before this one. Like, I thought this one would come first, and then they would do, like, the stuff going into the Shattered Teeth, but they did it the other way. So this was extremely fun, and I loved every minute of it. This, out of like the last couple of live shows since the end of Campaign 3, this has been the best one. I think they did the 2 Australian shows and they did Oaths and Ash. This has been the best one. This was so much fun. It was so enjoyable. There was just a good vibe all around. And this, coming after Campaign 4 has started, reminds me of the vibe that I love so much from the first 3 campaigns, of the 8 like OG cast members sitting together, playing the game, having a good time. And this is my favorite like campaign group. Like the Mighty Nine are my favorite, and I'm eating good this week. Believe me, I'm eating so good with the Mighty Nine animated show. But this was such a fucking awesome time. It was so fun to just watch all of these characters sort of reconnect, the characters that they met over the entirety of Campaign 2 and even Campaign 3, and having all of them sort of reconvene. The fact that Twiggy got mentioned is awesome. Twiggy is one of my favorite guests of all time, and she introduced one of the greatest items to the game ever. So it was just super fun overall. Like, this was just enjoyable. Finally, we got to pay off a Sharnai in some fashion. I'm certain they've left the door open for them to go after a Sharnai now, which is really cool, and I think would be like the best thing they could do. Just to like wrap this up completely. Think about it this way, right? Like, Fjord got his Uk'otoa thing wrapped up in 2 episodes. Caleb got Trent Ickathon wrapped up in the Echoes of the Solstice, which is nice. So you could like combine that with like the end of Campaign 2, and that's his 2-parter. So every one of these characters theoretically could get a like mini series or like double live show thing for them, for their character. Veth technically had like the Wild Mount Wildling, so she doesn't need that. So I would love like a couple more where we get to deal with something with Caduceus, where we get to deal with something for Bo and Yasha. Maybe they get to finally have a kid. You know, something like that. Something along those lines. So maybe we can finally fucking deal with Mollymock Tealeaf, or Kingsley as he is correctly called now, and we get to go back to Darktoe, right? I love this vibe that this one gave off. I love that it was 5e. I'm pretty sure it was 5e. I love that it was Dungeons and Dragons. I love that it was the original cast just having a good time, and the live show crowd was such a good vibe. This was just a super fun moment, and it was super nice after this massive break from Exandria, right? To come back in a true form and see Exandria in like its truest form, not Daggerheart like Oaths and Ash, not with 2 parties that are grouped together on Australia, right? Like, that was to me that was a mediocre set of live shows, and Oaths and Ash was fun, but I just don't enjoy Daggerheart as much as I like Dungeons and Dragons. This to me is what they should do moving forward. They shouldn't do Daggerheart stuff. They should just do D&D stuff. Leave Daggerheart to do miniseries or something like that. Live shows should almost exclusively be 5e in Exandria, and just keep doing that forever, because it is awesome. It is so much fun and so enjoyable for them to do this, and it was just such a good time. And I love the story that was played out. I wonder if you go and look at the wedding planner thing, if there's like hints that the wedding planner like video had her as a Sharnai already. If that was Matt's plan from the beginning, I assume it was, because even I was always like, this is going to be where a Sharnai makes her strike. Like, I was either like, it's going to be fucking Ludinus trying to be an asshole to like Caleb or something and try to like ruin this entire thing for this good party, or it was going to be a Sharnai, which was always more likely in my mind. Especially after the whole Oath and Ash thing where Ludinus just fucked off, I totally thought that it was going to be a Sharnai. So this was so much fun. Finally wrapping up one of the most legendary moments of all time in Campaign 2 of all Critical Role was perfect and the right choice. I mean, if you think about the last wedding episode they did, the Danlin's Closet, it also wrapped up a plot hook that was left open, right? Like, they had the Briarwood show up, or at least Cyrus Briarwood, and they dealt with him, which was a fun thing to do. So this was the exact same thing with a Sharnai, and it was cool, and it was great, and it was awesome. So I loved this. It was so much fun. These 2 characters, 2 of my favorite characters of all time in Critical Role, having a wedding day. And it was a nice little show of like Laura and Travis like being able to like display their love for each other. So it was just a feel good fucking live show, and it was so awesome. It was so fun and so enjoyable. This was awesome. I think that's all I have to say, realistically. I could probably gush about it for hours, but that's probably bad for a video. So I think I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you guys on Friday for whatever video I make next, because this is coming out on Tuesday, which is way after I record this, now that I'm thinking about it. It's funny, because I'm going to record tomorrow for the recap of episode 7. There's so much to do, so much work. I'm tired, and I will be even more tired by then. Until then, peace. And like usual, at the end of the video, I will be thanking the members of the channel. So this month we have Eric Cunningham in the Bandit level, and we have Trentley's Tabletop in the Rogue level. Thank you for the support. And if anyone would like to support the channel or get a shout out at the end of the video, you can become a channel member today. You will also get videos early, because I tend to upload them early and then schedule them for public viewing. But members get to see them early, so there's many benefits to becoming a member today.